All right, ladies, like I promised, you probably have a lot of questions about your periods, especially if you haven't started your period yet. So, we're going to talk about the 10 most common period questions that young girls have. Are you ready? Here we go. Another question that a lot of girls have is there anything that I won't be able to do when I'm having my period? And really, the answer to that, again, is no. There really isn't anything that you can't do. You can do all of your typical daily activities. So if you're in sports, there's no reason you can't play that day. If you swim, that's the only time where what you're going to use for your period will need to change. That's the only thing when you're going to need to use something called a tampon. So you can't swim with a pad, but you can swim with a tampon. And also, if you're a gymnast or if you move around a lot in your sport, you might feel more comfortable in a tampon than you will in a pad because the pad may shift or bunch up, and that could be uncomfortable. Or if your clothing's really tight, you might be able to see it if it's a thicker pad. So those are some things to consider. But other than that, you can take a bath or shower. You can jump around. You can do everything you normally do. There's nothing you can't do when you're having your period. This next question is a good one, and a lot of young girls have this one. What do I do if I get my period and I'm at school? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a very common question and a good one. So, what do you do if you're at school? Well, if you're at school and you notice it when you're in the restroom and you don't have a pad, what you can do is grab some toilet paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your fingers and hold them together like this. Take the toilet paper and wrap it around your hand. And then you're going to make like a little small emergency pad to put in your panties to go get a pad. And every school nurse has pads in their office. Most female teachers will have pads or sanitary napkins with them also probably in their desk. Most women who have gone their period carry them. They just carry them just in case. A lot of time purses have lots of little pockets, and those are great places to store things like pads. So I bet you could ask someone who you know has gotten their period, or you could privately ask a teacher or go to the school nurse to get what you need if you're at school. Now, if you're finding out because it got through your clothes, maybe you're sitting, and sometimes when you're sitting and you get your period, it might go through your clothing and it'll look like it's on your bottom. So it's kind of strange, and it might not be red, it could be brown. When period first comes out, it's a darker color blood, so it will look kind of brown. And so it might come, if it gets on your clothes, it might look like it's on your butt. So that can be kind of embarrassing. So what you can do is, if you have like a jacket or a flannel or a sweatshirt or something, you can tie that around your waist or borrow one from a friend or someone who's not using theirs to put it around your waist so that it covers. And usually that gets you through your day. If it's not enough or you don't have one, and there's a girl who's sitting behind you or a really good friend, you could ask them to walk behind you until you can get to the restroom. I've done that before. And sometimes even if you're in a restroom, I've heard women just yell out, "Does anyone have a pad or tampon?" And someone might pass you one underneath the stall. And I've done that before too, and you might also. And it's okay. Us women know that this is just normal. This is part of a woman's bodily process. Everyone gets a period, and there's nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about because it's so normal. Make sense? So that's what I would recommend if you're at school. Worst case scenario, if it really got on your clothes, you're uncomfortable, you could always call a parent and ask them to bring you an extra change of clothing so that you can get through the rest of your school day, and you don't have to bring so much attention to it. It happens a lot, and it's not something that we have to make a really big deal. It's just like a lot of things in life, things tend to be as big of a deal as we make them. So if you don't make it one, it won't be one. So I hope that helps. And we'll go on to our next question. You may also be wondering, how much blood will there be? And that's a great question. And again, I'll remind you that the organ that is holding the tissue with blood in it is called the uterus, and it's about the size of your closed fist. So really take a look at your fist. It's really not that big, is it? And the tissue is just on the inside walls of that organ, and it doesn't fill the whole thing. So the amount of blood is really pretty small. It's only somewhere between usually about 8 to 14 teaspoons, or approximately a third a cup of blood. And there'll be tissue in it. And when I keep saying tissue, what I mean is you may notice thick red clumps every once in a while in your period flow. And it's totally normal. Don't freak out. That's the lining coming out. So that's healthy and it's nothing unusual. Again, the period may be a little more brown in the beginning and at the end, and more red in the middle. So you'll have different shades of the blood as well. So don't let that freak you out. It's all normal as well. And yeah, there's not a lot of blood. So it comes out very slowly through the cervix, which is the door that's the size of the tip of the pen. So it's not going to pour out of you. It's totally manageable and it's nothing to be scared about. Another popular question, or something you may be wondering about, is what if I'm on my period and I'm a swimmer, or I'm in junior guards, or just want to go swimming? What do I do? Well, you're going to have to use something called a tampon. So if you haven't watched the pads and tampon video, please go do that, because I explain in great detail how to use a tampon properly. And what you'll do is you'll put that on only if you have a period. If you're not on your period, don't use a tampon. You don't need it unless your period is happening, okay? And what you'll do is you'll probably want some help the first time you use a tampon, definitely, because it can be a little tricky at first. And you'll want to probably wet the applicator so it's easier to place in your body, and be patient, okay? Be patient. And make sure you put it in high enough. That's usually what girls do wrong, is they don't put it in high enough. So if you watch the video again, I'm holding the tampon applicator right in the center, and you have to make sure that you put the tampon all the way up where your fingers are touching the labia of your body before you press the button and push it in, okay? If you don't do that, it will not be high enough. And instead of pulling it out, you're going to want to put it in higher. So maybe you can use the applicator, or if you have to, you're going to want to use your finger and push it up, and just wash your hands. You don't have to tell anybody, okay? It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's your body. It's your body, okay? Nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about your own body. So if you're a swimmer and you get your period, that's what you're going to have to learn how to do. And you're going to want to tuck the string in your panties or in your bathing suit bottoms to make sure that it's not hanging out. You don't want that to happen. And every once in a while, you'll kind of just take a peek and make sure everything's in its proper place. Nothing is sticking out of your suit or anything like that. Also, a lot of girls wonder about, like, what do I do if I have an accident or a leak? So you'll want to, again, make an emergency pad with some toilet paper if you need to. You also want to make sure that you carry pads with you, and you're not embarrassed to ask for a pad if you need one. Again, like I said, if you're at school, you can ask the school nurse, a teacher, a good friend, a random female in the bathroom, hey, can you pass me a pad or tampon? You can tie something around your waist if it gets through your clothing, or you can ask for a new change of clothes, or go home and change, or whatever you need to do. Maybe you can keep an extra pair of clothing in your gym locker or in your locker at school, just in case. Like, not a bad idea. You also probably don't want to wear the color white when your period is coming or you're expecting it. It's not a good time to wear white clothing, white panties, or white pants, or shorts, or skirts, or anything like that. If you do get a stain on your clothing, what you can do is use a cold water wash and rinse it out. And you can use some sort of product at home, like a spray and wash, or like a stain remover, to get it out. And worst case scenario, if you stained your panties, get some new ones. Big deal. Who doesn't love new panties, right? So those are some of my tips if you ever have an accident or leak. Also what to do if you want to go swimming and you're on your period. And I hope all these things help. Another common question is, how long will I have my period for? Or when will my period stop? So once you begin your period, and the fancy word for that is called menarche. That usually is on average, if we asked every girl, hey, when did you start your period? The average age would be about 12 and a half. Now, it's an average, so that means some girls start much younger, some start much older, and like I mentioned in a previous video, I've seen that age range as young as 6 up to 20 years old. So there really is a wide range of when menarche will happen. When a period stops is something called menopause. And you may hear some adults in your life, maybe some of your moms may be talking about this. Where menopause happens, it's when you're usually between the ages of 45 to 55 years old. And this is when the periods don't happen every month anymore. And after a girl doesn't get her period for a whole year, then she is officially in menopause. And menopause is when you don't get periods anymore. It's also the end of the reproductive process for women. So once a girl goes through menopause, she can no longer have children. Okay? And usually this happens between the ages of 45 to 55 years old in most women. Some women go through this sooner if there's a medical condition or if they've had surgery or something like that that may have made them cause or go into menopause early, okay? But other than that, that's about the lifespan of our reproductive system. And I mean, we still have our system, but we won't be able to conceive or have children anymore once we get that age. Now, once you start your period at 12 and a half, most girls get their period about once a month, about every 28 days. Now, the first 2 to 3 years of your period, though, it's normal to not be normal. Some girls will get one period and they may not get a second period until 3 months later. If you don't get your period after 3 months or so, you may want to talk to a doctor just to make sure everything's okay. You probably are fine, but in some cases there can be a condition going on, so it's good to just check in and make sure you're healthy and there's no condition or problems with your body. But what could happen is you might get one period and then you skip a month and then you get another period. It may not be consistent, and it may not be every 28 days. It could jump around too. So I think it's a good idea that once you get your first period, that you always carry something in a purse, and you start carrying a purse, okay? Or your book bag, or something you have with you all the time. I think that's a good practice because you never want to get caught without it. And it's a good way to make sure you have something with you, okay? So that's a little bit about when your period will stop. And again, the average period is typically 3 to 7 days long. That's how long it takes for the tissue that's inside of the uterus to come off the walls and slowly come out of the vagina. And then you'll have that, and about 4 weeks later, you'll get a new period. Okay, so that's kind of how that happens. And I hope that was helpful and you learned a lot in these videos. And remember, if you ever have any other questions, you can pretty much ask any adult woman in your life, and they're going to be able to give you tips and ideas of how to handle your period. If there's anything else you want to know, you can also ask me questions in the space below. It looks like Facebook down there, and you can ask questions, and I'll do my best to answer them in a timely manner. So let me know what you need to know, and you can ask anything you want. Okay, so that's it for our 10 most common questions that young girls have about their periods. I hope that helped.